how she's doing and she'd lie and say I'm fine. Ask her how she's doing and she'd lie. Ask her how she's doing. Ask me how I'm doing.
All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, I'll run my gun.
Welcome to another video in which we deep dive into the shenanigans occurring in the Amberverse. First, I'd like to thank you all for getting my channel to 300 subscribers. It's literally surreal how much you guys have helped my channel grow in the last few months, and I can only hope to continue to make content you enjoy. Regarding today's video, it's a mess, so get your baby wipes and bibs and let's get started. Are there any assumptions you wish people would stop making about you? That I lie about everything, it's exhausting. I'm not lying about anything. My life isn't just made full of theories and conspiracies. Everything I've said has been the truth. Girl, please, you literally made a whole series of videos reacting to things you've lied about, and every time you rebrand yourself, you say things like the old Amberlynn would have lied about how much she ate, the old Amberlynn would have never admitted to binging, etc. There are so many videos made by edit channels that highlight her various random lies and changing stories. She can't just decide to rewrite history whenever it suits her narrative. I'm also bipolar, and it's hard. Stay strong, love, take your meds, get some rest. Thank you. This is honestly getting so annoying. She handpicks questions to answer that are specifically related to mental illnesses she knows she has never been formally diagnosed with to garner sympathy from her viewers, specifically the ones that suffer from those illnesses, every time she gets called out for lying about something and wants to do her version of damage control. Once again, here's another example of Amberlynn adding on to her grocery list of mental illnesses that she just decided she had one day. She's picking and choosing these questions to answer to make herself look like a victim when she has literally not mentioned her bipolar disorder for a while, since admitting she doesn't actually have a diagnosis, but now that she used it as an excuse in her donation situation, it's back to being the forefront of her channel, and it will continue to be until she finds something new to diagnose herself with. She is essentially once again marginalizing a group of people based on the symptoms she thinks they suffer from that match the symptoms she's having. She literally probably Googles her random symptoms and chooses the first mental illness that pops up on WebMD and claims she has it. It's absolutely ridiculous and a slap in the face to the people that actually suffer from bipolar disorder who probably wish they didn't. It's not a cute disorder full of manic shopping sprees at Target and Torrid and a few sad moments after a binge. It is debilitating for most people who suffer from it. It affects their lives, their jobs, their loved ones, themselves, and they have to live with that disorder forever, not just until they decide it's not cool anymore. She needs to get a grip. Do you drink energy drinks? Absolutely not. I have way too much anxiety for that kind of energy. They give people heart attacks and early heart failure. Literally being morbidly obese for extended periods of time can cause both of these things, but she seems to have no problem with that. Not to mention her absurd sodium intake and constant consumption of Starbucks drinks that have just as much, if not more, caffeine in them as energy drinks do. She doesn't care about her health enough to make significant dietary changes and stick to them, but she cares enough to avoid Red Bull. Give me a break. I highly doubt you feel colors. You have every condition under the sun, lol, please quit it. You're not unique. Feeling colors isn't a condition, I don't think LMFAO, and I don't think it's unique. I'm assuming everyone is like this? Or most people? I've always correlated certain things with colors, since I was a little girl. Literally what she's describing is synesthesia, LMAO. If she said that she associates certain colors with a mood, for example yellow is a happy color, black is a sad/gloomy color, etc., it would have been more understanding. But saying she feels colors is not the same thing. That is implying that in the place of feelings and intense emotions she sees colors, which she herself said that she does not have the ability to do because she does not possess the ability to visualize. Her lies are catching up with her, and instead of just admitting she lied, she's doubling down and trying to rationalize by saying this is something everyone experiences. I saw this on Reddit, and honestly this one isn't as bad as it is funny. She bought this teeny tiny chair, and I guess she wanted to prove she could squeeze her large industrial shelf into it. This literally looks like the most uncomfortable experience, and she likely will never show herself sitting in that chair after this. Her leg is literally on top of the arm rest, LMAO. She complained about being too big to fit in movie theater chairs a while back, and she's too big for CT/MRI machines, but she expects us to believe she comfortably fits in this baby chair from Target? Goodbye. In this screenshot from a recent vlog, you can see the reflection of Amberlynn's computer and you'll never believe whose video she's watching. This might be a stretch, but it appears to be the one and only Nadar himself. The man she called a narcissist and an abuser and who she openly recanted her apology from after the drama with Chantal. She is literally the worst, and she only regretted apologizing to him because the publicity stunt didn't go the way she planned and her attempt to use gaslighting as damage control turned both her and Chantal's followers against her. It absolutely does not surprise me that she continues to watch his channel. It's actually probably the most on-brand thing for her that I'll cover in this video. When you think, do you think in images, or do you have the little voice narrator? Nope. I don't see images, and I don't hear a voice. So she went from just not being able to visualize images, aka aphantasia, to not having images or voices? So is she trying to say her mind is permanently completely blank? That is literally impossible. There is nothing in the DSM-5 regarding having a completely blank mind. No doctor has ever diagnosed a patient with having a completely blank mind at all times. Our brains developed nearly constant streams of consciousness and inner monologues/imagery over millions of years. It allowed us to make quick decisions and constantly analyze our surroundings for potential threats or viable food sources. This doesn't simply go away. That's why most people find it extremely hard to clear their heads or block out intrusive thoughts. The closest thing to what Amberlynn is claiming she has that has ever been recorded is unsymbolized thinking, which is a thought that occurs unaccompanied by images or inner monologue, more closely likened to thinking in feelings or sensations. For example, smelling popcorn on the street, and instead of thinking that smells really good, you think of the sensation of eating popcorn you really enjoy. However, this would only be a permanent state of thinking in extremely rare cases, none of which have even been publicly recorded, so it is unknown if they even exist. It is usually just limited to the thoughts that we think and then move on from faster than the brain can convert them into words or images. It is highly unlikely that this is the only form of thinking that Amberlynn experiences, especially with her self-admitted tendency to overthink due to her anxiety. Not to mention the fact that she literally said she sees letters as colors and admitted literally a few vlogs ago that she kept thinking chicken nuggets over and over again in her brain to see if she'd binge while on Ozempic and it didn't trigger her, so this is obviously a lie. What do you wish people would stop assuming/asking/saying about you? Anything to do with my exes. I just want to be done talking about any of them, but I get hundreds and hundreds of messages about them a day. It's exhausting. It's hard to fish around them to find questions that don't involve them. When I answer one here and there, people go nuts on me. First and foremost, literally nobody is forcing Amberlynn to talk about Becky. She picks the questions she answers. She can easily choose to ignore questions that even remotely mention Becky. She has literally been having a one-sided shade fest with Becky through her Instagram Q&A for weeks now. If she wanted so desperately to just be done talking about her exes, she'd stop talking about them. Simple as that. But of course, Amberlynn is the victim in this situation and thinks everyone is out to get her for just answering a question about Becky, without acknowledging that every time she answers a question about Becky or mentions them in the slightest, it's literally only to blame them for something that went wrong in her life or to gush about how much better and more supportive and in love Wipey is than they ever were. It's giving very much bitter, and I hope Becky continues to handle this breakup with the class and unbothered energy she's been handling it with and lets Amberlynn make herself look bad all on her own, which she definitely doesn't seem to have a problem doing. Becky says they want you to stop talking about them. Would you do that? No hate. I have no problem doing that, but if I am talking about my cancer experience and things revolving around cancer that I went through at that time, I need to be able to do so freely and peacefully, just like they were able to do regarding their hard times when I was with them. I'm not talking about them, I'm talking about my experience with cancer. There's a huge difference. No, see, this is exactly what we're not gonna do. Amberlynn was not just talking about her cancer experience. If that was the case, she would have simply said that because she waited so long to go to the hospital her bleeding was extremely severe, and it was a traumatic experience for her. Instead, she made multiple posts actively insinuating that Becky was somehow at fault or influenced her not prioritizing her health and safety. She made jabs at Becky by saying if she was with her current girlfriend, she would have gone to the hospital sooner and that her current girlfriend would have never had her wait so long to go to the gynecologist, as if it's somehow either of their responsibilities in the first place. She as a grown woman should have gotten her situation checked out. If she wanted to talk about her cancer experience, more power to her, but she's not gonna convince anyone that what she said about Becky wasn't malicious and intentional to cast blame on them for what happened. And the events of this night are a topic that has been covered on her channel multiple times and talked about on a few different live streams, so why on earth is she coming out of the blue answering questions about Becky and their involvement in what happened and all the would've, could've, should've nonsense? If I bought a coffee, dropped it, and burned myself, then saying I burned myself because I dropped my coffee cup on the way to my car today would be talking about my experience, but saying if the barista had carried my coffee to my car for me, I never would have dropped it and gotten burned would be blaming someone for not handling something they had no obligation to take care of and I was fully capable of doing myself. I think you guys get my drift. Are you still losing weight currently? I hope so. I haven't weighed myself, so I'm not sure. Amberlynn has suddenly stopped weighing herself after her constant bragging about how much weight she's lost on Ozempic, the magical medical miracle? I don't know about you, but if I was taking a $1,000 medication that was melting weight off of me, I would want to continue weighing myself to make sure it keeps working its magic or just to be able to talk to my doctor in case I suddenly stop losing weight or start gaining it back so we could make adjustments. I wouldn't even risk dishing out thousands of dollars for a medication that isn't continuing to work. Also, we're talking about someone who weighed herself daily for weeks and counted every decimal point she lost, but she randomly stopped tracking her miraculous weight loss for no reason. I'm not buying what she's selling. Approximately 10,267 babies were born in the United States yesterday, and I definitely wasn't one of them. I believe she either stopped Ozempic or started binging, expecting the miracle medicine to do all of her work for her, and she gained weight again. And on that note, I'm gonna wrap this up. As always, comment your thoughts and theories down below. Thank you for watching.